Day 8 of Packers training camp was a hot one out at Edge Field, and it was one of their longer practices to date, probably because they're going to take a light day tomorrow. No public availability for that practice as they get ready for Saturday's family night, which of course is going to have a little bit more intensity, practicing out at Lambeau Field and under the lights for the fans. So let's get into the highlights. Let's start off with a little bit of roster moves. The Packers released Ladarius Hamilton and in exchange signed a linebacker, Arron Mosby, off of Carolina's waivers. When you think about this move, you look at the edge position and we seem pretty well off there, so we can probably afford to let someone like Hamilton go, as he's probably one of the bottom of the roster guys there anyway. Signing another linebacker gives us some more versatility there and possibly more useful and utility on special teams. Sitting out today's practice was Stokes, Gary, and Deguara. Deguara was out with a calf injury. Bakhtiari also had an off day, which meant Yash started at left tackle, Zach Tom at right tackle, and center was Josh Myers again.
Hey, another day, back in pads, ready to get after it.
Have a great practice, Aaron.
Rob Demovsky appeared on ESPN's Get Up yesterday and talked a bit about Jordan Love's progress. And for one of the first times, we heard less than stellar reviews. Rob admitted that Jordan had one outstanding day, probably his best day as a Packer, one pretty good day, and then for the rest of it, kind of assessed it as it could be a bit of a long year. Here we see Jordan Love throw a fade to a running back, Aaron Jones. Jones said one of the things he's learned so far in camp is that the defense is really tough. Another interesting thing Jones did today was pull Rasul Douglas aside and kind of get him to calm down a little bit on the defensive side. When they got into the 2-minute drill, Rasul Douglas was talking some mad trash, and apparently it had gotten pretty vulgar, so Jones had to step up and pull him aside and get him to calm down. But you love to see that kind of competition and energy in camp. Here we've got Jordan Love throwing to Luke Musgrave on a curl route. During one of the one-on-one reps, Musgrave flew past Anthony Johnson, and quarterback Alex Magoo hit him in stride for a touchdown. In this clip, we see Jordan Love hitting Samori Toure on a dig route, and then Bo Melton goes deep from Sean Clifford. Same concept with this route combination, but this time Love is going deep for Romeo Doubs. Leaves it just a little bit short. You'd like to see him get it a little bit further out in front of him, catch him in stride, and let him run after the catch. Jaden Reed continues to make some flash plays here and there, including scoring the final touchdown of the team period today. What I really like about this route is that you see at the top of his route right before the break, he throws his left hand up, and you can see that Innis Gaines bit on it. Dontayvion Wicks was back on the field today for the first time after his concussion. It's good to see him back out there, and I don't think that it's going to be too much of a detriment the time that he missed. In this next clip, you see him working an inside release on a slant route past Keandre Thomas. And another guy who keeps making plays is Malik Heath. You'll hear his name and Bo Melton's name a good bit as we talk about 2-minute and the 4-minute drill. On this rep, I really like how he just goes out and snatches that ball out of the air, rather than just letting it get to his hands. And with Deguara out, Pearson got a little bit more run as the fullback. Here he makes a nice one-handed catch, and then you see him working through, some run blocking concepts, working motion, as we know Matt LaFleur loves to use in his offense. And then here's a rare look at a run rep from team, where Aaron Jones takes the carry off left tackle. Despite the heat, we still saw Keyshawn Nixon out there wearing his hoodie. In this drill, he's trailing a little bit, and then he breaks hard to go break up a pass. Devontae Wyatt has also made great strides along the defensive line. On Tuesday, he showed off his power, and then today in individual drills, he killed Runyon with a killer spin move. Then as we look at some edge drills, you just see the difference in pace and speed of, Enigbari, Preston Smith, and then finally LVN, who just flies off the line. If he can prove to not be a liability in the run game, which so far he hasn't seemed to be, granted it's just practice, I think it's going to be really difficult to keep him off the field, which is a great thing for Packers fans. The release of Hamilton also probably bodes well for undrafted free agent Brenton Cox. Up next, we get a little bit of a glimpse at a battle between Van Ness and David Bakhtiari. And when you see it in slow motion, you can really see the arm extension and the length that Van Ness has. I'm really excited to see Kenneth Odumegwu in some live action as well. Physically, I think he has all the tools, but it's a matter of putting it together with, his inexperience playing football. It was noted that he had one outstanding rep where he held up nicely in run defense earlier. As we transition over to special teams, everybody knows Anders Carlson has been having some struggles. This clip, he was out there before practice working on kicking. You see, he takes a really short approach, effectively no approach on some of these kicks, basically just leaving his plant foot in place and driving the ball. You can see the power that he has, but I'm curious, how much accuracy he has working on this kind of thing. Ultimately, he was 4 for 6 today, making from 43, 45, 49, and 54, but missing wide right from 41 and 47. Both kicks that he missed wide right, he took from the left hash. While we've got a moment looking at some of the rest of the special teams work, we'll talk about some of the guys that stood out today. Tyler Goodson, for instance, he had 2 big plays. One, he broke a 38-yard run for a touchdown in team, and then, as I'll discuss a little bit more when we get to the team portion, he had a nice catch and run from Sean Clifford in the 2-minute drill. And Sean Ryan has performed well in individual drills. So far, per Ryan Wood, he's 8-0 in one-on-one reps. During some of the team sessions, one of the things the Packers did today was a 4-minute drill. So when the first team was up on that, on first down, for one instance, A.J. Dillon had a 3-yard run, followed by a 4-yard pass from Love to Watson, and that brought us down to about the 2-minute warning. From there, we had 3rd and 3, obviously, and Dillon was able to connect in a 4-yard run and secure the period for a win for the offense. Essentially, the point of that 4-minute drill was for the offense to, retain possession of the ball and keep, the clock running effectively. When the second team had their opportunity to do it, Danny Etling was leading the unit, and it started off with 2 Lou Nichols runs that brought him 5 yards essentially, so we're up to 3rd and 5. On that 3rd down, Etling had to, escape and roll out to his left, and he threw it deep, targeting Tucker Kraft, but it was just a little too deep, and it ended up being an incompletion, and the defense ended up winning that session. Another one for the first team unit, Jones broke a 4-yard run, then followed by Taylor, but unfortunately on 3rd down, when Taylor got the ball again, we couldn't really get a clear spot of where the ball was, so we don't know who won that period. When we had the 2-minute drill, for instance, though, one of the 2-minute drill sessions led by Sean Clifford, he started off with a 15-yard completion to Bo Melton across the middle, followed that up with a 6-yard completion to Tyler Goodson. After that, was able to get the first down to Melton on a little bit of a hitch route. Then from there, Goodson actually had an outstanding catch and run that brought them down into the red zone, where they ended up with a 1st and goal from the 8-yard line. It sounded like they were able to punch that one in, and Clifford connected with Malik Heath on a slant for a touchdown with that. When the first team had their shot to do it, Love starts off 15-yard completion to Romeo Dobbs. Takes a bit of a shot on 2nd down, or on the second pass rather, to Christian Watson, but Rasul Douglas was able to make a little bit of a recovery on the play and got there just in time to bat it out of Christian Watson's hands at the last second. From there, had an incompletion that brought us to 4th down, but Love was able to scramble and pick up that 1st down rather, and keep the drive moving. Completed 3 more short passes to Melton, Musgrave, and then Dillon, but a couple incompletions there, and we weren't quite able to punch it in. I believe we got down to about the 20-yard line with 10 seconds left and weren't able to convert on, effectively 2 shots into the end zone. Overall, the team period ended. The last play was an absolute bullet from Love to Jaden Reed, and it was just past Isaiah McDuffie's fingertips, and it was really between McDuffie and Gaines, who were in coverage on Reed. It was a tight window throw that Jordan Love was able to connect on and really end that drive or that team period with a touchdown to Reed. Overall, the offense was a bit more consistent than the defense today in the team period, and that's what led them to get their first win and to avoid the, extra cardio, if you will, at the end of the team period. So today, the defense we see doing up downs right now. But that's really all we have for day 8 of practice. We'll see if there's a whole lot that comes out tomorrow from a bit of a lighter day. But if nothing else, we'll be back on Saturday following family night.